ولادة سيدنا عيسى المسيح عليه السلام. The birth of Master Jesus Al-Masih, may peace be upon him. So Al-Masih, I don't usually say the Messiah because the translations and the meanings don't line up. Masih means the one who wiped on the sick people and cured them, from the word masah. So it would mean wiper. Or it means the one who tours. Yani, someone might say the evangelist. He goes around making da'wah. Al-Masih, he does siyaha. Whereas they say Messiah means the one who was anointed with oil. So maybe they're wrong about that Messiah. Anyway, who anointed him with oil according to them? I don't know. Did he rub himself with oil or somebody else did? I don't know what they say there, why they call him that. يقول الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم, said God, exalted is he in the noble Quran, ما المسيح ابن مريم إلا رسول قد خلت من قبله الرسل وأمه صديقة. The Messiah, the son of Mary, is not but a messenger before whom there have passed away messengers, and his mother is a highly ranked saint, a saint of the level called Siddiq. She's a Siddiqah. That's in Surah Al-Ma'idah. The number of the ayah is not here. هو عبد الله ورسوله عيسى بن مريم. He is God's slave, God's slave man, and his messenger, Jesus, son of Mary, binti Imran, daughter of Imran, Joachim, they say. خلقه الله تعالى من غير أب. Allah created him without a father. So Maryam is the daughter of Imran. Of course, you know that's different from the father of Musa. Musa's father is Imran too, the father of Musa and Harun. That one, Imran, the father of Musa, they call him Amram. In my small research, the one who is the father of Mary, they called him Joachim. But in Arabic, it's Imran. We're going to call him Imran. Rahimahullah. خلقه الله تعالى من غير أب. Allah created him without a father. كما خلق آدم من غير أب وأم. Just as he created Adam without a father or a mother. And likewise, Eve was created without a father or a mother. But Eve was created from someone living, which was Adam, but she doesn't have a father or a mother. But she was created from a male, not from a female. قال الله تعالى, said God, exalted is he, إن مثل عيسى عند الله كمثل آدم خلقه من تراب ثم قال له كن فيكون. Indeed, the example of Jesus to Allah is like the example of Adam. Allah created Adam from soil and then said to him, be, and he was. Yani, he commanded for Adam to become a human from clay. That's in Surah Al-Imran. وأم نبي الله عيسى هي مريم بنت عمران. And the mother of God's prophet Jesus, she is Mary or Maryam, the daughter of Imran, as-Siddiqatu al-Waliyatu al-Adhra'u al-Tahirah. the Siddiqah, the highly loyal, pious saint. She is Saint Mary. That's true. Saint Mary is true. The virgin, the pure virgin. التي تربت في بيت الفضيلة, the one who was raised in a noble house. How do you spell in English her father? This one, Joachim? Not sure if they spell it with a J or they spell it with a Y. Maybe it's something like that. Joachim, I'm not sure. But I'm not going to look at the moment, inshallah. She was raised in a noble house, or noble household, which was the household of Prophet Zakaria. وعاشت عيشة الطهر والتقوى, and she lived a life of purity and God-fearingness. She was not a sinful lady or girl, yani, even from her youth. She was pious since she was young. She didn't just become pious after she became grown woman, yani. She was pious even as a youngster. I'm using the word woman, yani, like even in her teen years, I mean. Even as, for example, 13 years old, 14 years old, she was very, very, very pious. وقد أثنى الله تبارك وتعالى عليها في القرآن الكريم في مواطن عديدة. And God, exalted is He, praised her in the noble Quran in numerous spots. قال الله تعالى, said God, exalted is He, ومريم ابنة عمران التي أحصنت فرجها فنفخنا فيه من روحنا وصدقت بكلمات ربها وكتبه وكانت من القانتين. In Surah At-Tahrim, and Mary, the daughter of Imran, the one who preserved her chastity, I'll say it that way. فَنَفَخْنَا فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِنَا. I don't remember how to explain that part. And she believed in the words of her Lord and in His books. And she was amongst the worshipful. ومما جاء في قصة حملها ووضعها, and among what came concerning the story of her pregnancy and delivery, أنها ذهبت ذات يوم إلى مكان لتقضي أمرا, is that she went one day to a place to fulfill a need for an errand of hers. فأرسل الله إليها جبريل عليه السلام, and then God sent to her Gabriel, may peace be upon him, متشكلا بشكل شاب أبيض الوجه, in the shape of a young man with a white face. قال إنما أنا رسول ربك لأهب لك غلاما زكيا. He said, merely, I am your Lord's messenger, tasked with gifting to you a pure child. That's in Surah Maryam. أي فقال لها إن الله أرسله إليها ليهبها ولدا صالحا طاهرا من الذنوب, to gift to her a pious child pure from sins. Yani, who would be pure from sins, is going to be pure of sins as a child. Anyway. قالت أنا يكون لي غلام ولم يمسسني بشر ولم أك بغيا. She said, how would I have a child and no man has ever touched me, and I am not a loose woman? قالت مريم أَنَّا يَكُونُ لِي غُلَامٌ وَلَمْ يَقْرَبْنِي زَوْجٌ وَلَمْ أَكُنْ فَاجِرَةً زَانِيَةً. Meaning that Mary said, how would I have a child when I have never had a husband who would approach me, and when I was never a vice-doing, fornicating woman? قَالَ كَذَلِكِ قَالَ رَبُّكِ. The angel said to her, so says your Lord. هُوَ عَلَيَّ هَيِّنٌ. Your Lord says, it is easy for me to create in you a child without a man having ever touched you. وَلِنَجْعَلَهُ آيَةً لِلنَّاسِ وَرَحْمَةً مِنَّا. And so that we would make him, yani, so that God would make him a sign for the people and a mercy from God. وَكَانَ أَمْرًا مَقْضِيًّا. And this is a matter ordained. It is destiny that you shall become pregnant. أي فأجابها جبريل عن تعجبها. Meaning, Gabriel answered her about that which astonished her. بأن خلق ولد من غير أب سهل هين على الله تعالى. That creating a child without a father is easy for God. Exalted is He. وَلِيَجْعَلَهُ عَلَامَةً لِلنَّاسِ. And so that God would make him a sign for the people. وَدَلِيلًا عَلَى كَمَالِ قُدْرَتِهِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى. And as evidence for the perfection of God's power, glorified and exalted. وَلِيَجْعَلَهُ رَحْمَةً وَنِعْمَةً لِمَنِ اتَّبَعَهُ وَصَدَّقَهُ وَآمَنَ بِهِ. And so that God would make Jesus a mercy and a blessing for whoever followed him and believed in him. That means they became Muslims, because Jesus was a Muslim. يقول الله تعالى في القرآن. God the Exalted said in the Quran, فَحَمَلَتْ. And so she became pregnant with him. That's when the angel blew the soul into her clothing. And then the soul went into her mouth and she became pregnant with him with no seminal fluid, without seminal fluid. فَانْتَبَذَتْ بِهِ مَكَانًا قَصِيًّا. And then she walked to a far place when she was pregnant with him. فَأَجَاءَهَا الْمَخَاضُ إِلَى جِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ. And the pains of the contractions brought her to the stump of a palm tree. She was by herself. She was not in a barn. Didn't the Christians say that Mary gave birth to Jesus in a barn? That's not true. قالت يا ليتني مت قبل هذا. She said, woe is me, if only I had died before this. وكنت نسيا منسيا. If only I had died before this and I were something forgotten. فناداها من تحتها. And so the angel called her from below her. Yani, she was in a place and the angel was in a lower place. She was in an elevated place compared to the angel, and the angel called her from below her. أَلَّا تَحْزَنِي. Do not grieve. قَدْ جَعَلَ رَبُّكِ تَحْتَكِ سَرِيًّا. Your Lord has made for you a stream flowing below you. وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ. And pull towards you a branch of the palm stump. تساقط عليك رطبا جنيا. Then when you do so, date palms, dates will, or the stage of a date that's called rutab. Rutabs will fall for you. It means that Mary was pregnant after the angel came to her. And you know, the angel appeared to her, as they say, out of nowhere. So he frightened her. And she said, I seek refuge with God from you. If you fear God, if you are God-fearing, then fear God. That's when he said to her, don't be afraid. I am merely the messenger of your Lord. I came to give you the gift of a pure child. It means he came to blow the soul into her. So he blew the soul into her, and she became pregnant. And how long was the duration of this pregnancy? There are different sayings. Some said her belly filled up immediately. Some said other than that, and some said that it was normal term pregnancy. But during this pregnancy, she went away from her people, far from her people, until the pains of the contractions brought her to a tree stump. And that's when she said these words here: woe is me, if only I had died before this and was something forgotten. And then the angel called out to her, don't be sad. Look, your Lord has created for you a stream flowing beneath you. And he instructed her, pull on the branches of the palm tree stump, and then fruits will drop for you. فَكُلِي وَاشْرَبِي وَقَرِّي عَيْنًا. And eat and drink and be happy with your newborn son. Yeah, so meaning that this river or stream and these fruits were to help her in her time of delivery. And then when it was time for her to actually deliver him and the pain overtook her, she took hold of the tree stump and she let out a shout, and the baby came out. Alayhi salam. فَإِمَّا تَرَيِنَّ مِنَ الْبَشَرِ أَحَدًا فَقُولِي إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ صَوْمًا. And the angel instructed her, if you see any humans, then say, I have pledged a vow to God to fast. But what was her fast? Her fast was to fast from speaking. فَلَنْ أُكَلِّمَ الْيَوْمَ إِنْسِيًّا. And so I shall not speak today to any human. That's what the angel told her to say. But what does that mean? She's fasting from speaking, and he told her, say this. Say that you will not speak to anyone. So is she going to speak to someone or not? So some said what it means is she was just allowed to say those words and not more. And some said it means she will signal to them that she won't speak, and she will communicate through sign, through gesture, and she won't speak. نفخ جبريل عليه السلام في جيب درعها. Gabriel, may peace be upon him. So we're backing up here. Gabriel, may peace be upon him, blew into her collar. فَحَمَلَتْ بِعِيسَى عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ. And she became pregnant with Jesus. ثُمَّ تَنَحَّتْ بِحَمْلِهَا بَعِيدًا. Then she went far with her pregnancy. خَوْفَ أَنْ يُعَيِّرَهَا النَّاسِ بِوِلَادَتِهَا مِنْ غَيْرِ زَوْجٍ. For fear of the people blaming her and scolding her for being pregnant without a husband, because she was known that she wasn't married. It was known she wasn't married. She was famous, actually. She was famous for her piety. She was a living legend. ثم ألجأها وجع الولادة إلى ساق نخلة يابسة. Then the pains of delivery, the contractions, brought her to the trunk of a dry palm tree. وتمنت الموت, and she wished that she was dead. خوفا من أذى الناس, for fear of the people's harm. And by the way, do you know how old was Mary in this story? Mary was about 13 years old when she gave birth to Jesus. So someone say they believe that Jesus, the Son of God, then what they believe, and also not just that, but they also believe that humans are God's children. So it means then they believe that God had a baby with his own daughter out of wedlock, who was 13. Even though, you know, a girl could be married, but she wasn't married. فَنَادَاهَا جِبْرِيلٌ, and so Gabriel called to her. يُطَمْئِنُهَا, to console her, to make her feel better. وَيُخْبِرُهَا أَنَّ اللَّهَ جَعَلَ تَحْتَهَا نَهْرًا صَغِيرًا, and telling her that God created below her a stream. وَيَطْلُبُ مِنْهَا أَن تَهُزَّ جِذْعَ النَّخْلَةِ, and he was telling her to shake the palm tree. لِيَتَسَاقَطَ عَلَيْهَا الرُّطَبُ الْجَنِيُّ, so that fresh rutabs would fall upon her, or for her. وَأَن تَأْكُلَ وَتَشْرَبَ مِمَّا رَزَقَهَا اللَّهُ, and to eat and drink from what God provided for her, to assist her in her pregnancy and her delivery. وَأَن تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا, and the angel told her to be happy. وَأَن تَقُولَ لِمَنْ رَآهَا وَسَأَلَهَا عَنْ وَلَدِهَا, and for her to say to anyone who saw her and asked her about her child, إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ أَلَّا أُكَلِّمَ أَحَدًا, I have indeed vowed to God to not speak to anyone. ثم إن مريم عليها السلام أتت قومها تحمل مولودها عيسى عليه السلام. Then Mary did indeed later, after that, come to her people carrying her newborn, Jesus, may peace be upon him. And there was something before that, before she came back to her people, which was what? Which was when Jesus was born. The devils found all the idols on the earth upside down. They found all the idols on the earth upside down. So they were baffled. How's that? So they told Satan, Iblis, they informed him. So then he went flying, looking for the reason. Why would something like that happen? Until he spotted a crowd of angels. So he went and he found that this baby was born. And he was not able to get close to him because of all of the angels. You said, is the rutab dates when they are fresh or they have become dried like the dates we normally eat? No, rutab are moist. Even it's in the name, rutab. Ra, ta, ba means moisture. Those letters. So she came back with her baby to her people. This was 40 days later. Alayhi salam, Jesus. Ala yadiha fi bayti lahm. Her child was in her hands and she went back to Bethlehem. Beit Lahm, Bethlehem. فَقَالُوا لَهَا, so they said to her, لَقَدْ فَعَلْتِ فِعْلَةً مُنْكَرَةً عَظِيمَةً. Mary, by God, you have done something horrible. فإن أباك لم يكن رجل سوء. Your father was not a bad man. وَلَمْ تَكُنْ أُمُّكِ زَانِيَةً. And your mother was not an adulteress. وَظَنُّوا بِهَا السُّوءَ. So they thought ill of her. When she had a baby, they knew she wasn't married ever. وَصَارُوا يُوَبِّخُونَهَا وَيُؤَنِّبُونَهَا. And they were scolding her and blaming her. وَهِيَ سَاكِتَةٌ. And she was silent. لا تجيب, not answering. لأنها أخبرتهم أنها نظرت للرحمن صوما. Because she informed them that she made a pledge to God to fast from speaking. وَلَمَّا ضَاقَ بِهَا الْحَالِ. But then, when the situation got tight, أشارت إلى عيسى عليه السلام. She pointed to Jesus, may peace be upon him. عندها قالوا لها ما أخبر الله به. And when she did that, then they said to her what God told us in the Quran. فأشارت إليه. So she pointed to him. It means she made a gesture to them to talk to the baby. قالوا كيف نكلم من كان في المهد صبيا. They said, how would we speak to someone who's just a baby in the cradle? عند ذلك أنطق الله تبارك وتعالى بقدرته سيدنا عيسى عليه السلام. And that's when God, by his power, made Jesus speak. وَكَانَ رَضِيعًا. And he was not more than a nursing baby. قال إني عبد الله آتاني الكتاب وجعلني نبيا. He said, indeed, I am God's slave. He shall give me the book and make me a prophet. وجعلني مباركا أينما كنت وأوصاني بالصلاة والزكاة ما دمت حيا. And he made me a blessing wherever I am. And he commanded me to pray and to pay the zakat as long as I am alive. All of that is from Surah Maryam. Maybe sometime we can go over the book about Jesus and his mother that Sheikh Jamil compiled. He gave me ijaza in that book. There's a lot of interesting information in there. اعتراف بالعبودية لله عز وجل. هذا أول ما نطق به عليه السلام وهو في المهد. Admitting to his being a slave of God, invincible and great. This is the first of what Jesus pronounced, may peace be upon him, while he was in the cradle. قال إني عبد الله آتاني الكتاب وجعلني نبيا. He said, I am indeed God's slave. He shall give me the book and make me a prophet. وجعلني مباركا أينما كنت وأوصاني بالصلاة والزكاة ما دمت حيا. And he shall make me a blessing wherever I am and command me with prayer and zakat as long as I am alive. إقرار منه بالعبودية. This is a confession of being a slave of God. Lillahi Rabbil Alameen, a slave of God, the Lord of the worlds. So there's some repetition in here. This repetition in here is an indication that what's written here was transcribed from verbal lessons. Sometimes you can tell the verbal lesson that's been written down. especially if you have experience in taking notes. Then you can tell the verbal, what was originally verbally and what was actually just written originally, not verbally transcribed. وقوله وجعلني مباركا أي جعلني نفاعا معلما للخير حيثما توجهت. And his saying that he will make me a blessing means he will make me very useful and a teacher of the good wherever I head, wherever I go. May Allah make us a blessing wherever we are. Ameen. دعا عيسى عليه السلام قومه إلى عبادة الله وحده. Jesus, may peace be upon him, called his people to the worship of God alone. وعدم الإشراك به شيئا, and not to associate anything with him. ولكنهم كذبوه, but they contradicted him, meaning most of them, not all of them. وحسدوه, and they were envious of him. Yes, just like they were envious of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And like that, someone even would be envious of one of the mashayikh, for example, or any other person who has something special about him. May Allah protect us, Ameen, from being envious ones and from the envious ones. Ameen. وَقَالُوا عَنْهُ سَاحِرٌ, and they called him a magician. That's because he did miracles. وَلَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِهِ إِلَّا الْقَلِيلُ, and only few believed in him. And the Shaykh says that the miracles of Jesus are transmitted by tawatur, successive mass report. And also Moses. He said the miracles of Moses and Jesus are transmitted by tawatur. What that means is we don't know them only by Prophet Muhammad in conveying that to us, nor do we know them only by the books of the Jews and the Christians, but rather that was already widespread since their time. Since their time, they did these miracles and they never stopped being transmitted until today. فعيسى عليه السلام نبي ورسول. So Jesus, may peace be upon him, is a prophet and a messenger. جاء بدين الحق. He came with the right religion, the true religion, the real religion. The religion that's really true and right. والهدى, and he came with the guidance. دين الإسلام العظيم, the great religion of Islam. الذي جاء به كل الأنبياء, that religion that all of the prophets came with. من آدم إلى محمد صلوات الله وسلامه عليهم أجمعين. All of the prophets from Adam until Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon all of them. Yes, this is very, very great religion. Also, non-Muslims are envious of the Muslims over their religion. And many of them recognize the superiority of our religion and the superiority of our religious practices and the superiority of the effect that our religion has on us, the good effect that the religion has on us in terms of knowledge and nobility and piety and God-fearingness and trustworthiness and honesty and bravery. And they know that they don't find anything like that from the people of their own religion. In that book that's supposed to be The Confessions of a British Spy, and there's a statement. Allah knows the authenticity of it. And there's a statement. This supposedly this British spy said, the layman amongst the Muslims is as religious as our top religious people. And as for their scholars are like immovable mountains. So Yani, if somebody said, because somebody wrote that, I don't know who wrote that, but somebody said that the common Muslim is as religious, that's in their perspective, as the elite ones from their religion, the Christian religion. This is true. You know, the people know the Muslims are strong in their religion.